you own it, he taxes it. And when you die, he taxes it. And if it's an IRA 401k, he taxes it twice, right? Really nice guy. This is an inflation table. I don't know if everybody keeps track of it, but I've been pulling this off of the U.S. Department of Labor. Remember the 70s? You want to get a car, a house, credit cards, everything was double-digit interest. That's coming back. It's been really nice during the last few decades. We've been, if you look at the last 10 years, we're at 2.6% inflation rate. But if you take this whole time period, we're at 4.6. And you see what's happening in this country right now with the spending and everything. We can't sustain this any longer. We did have a negative return this year, right? This we're spending like crazy. If you look at the markets, the thing about the markets is there's always going to be corrections. Usually about every 10 years or so, you have some big ones. This is the only time it's ever happened more than 2 years in a row. So there's only been 4. Even this last one, it was looking so drastic, we thought it was going to carry on. We still had a really good return in 2009. So we always have to be prepared for these and take advantage of the next year, okay? Setting your expectations. One thing I like to tell everybody is, look, when you're going to work with people, make sure I call it above and below the line, okay? And I just put you have insurance agents. These guys are usually going out there trying to do financial planning and stuff. They sell you insurance products. Down here you have securities licensed people. They tend to sell you securities. If you have somebody who has both licenses, I call them on the line. They can give you insurance or securities and then products that are combinations thereof. In order to make sure that you're being taken care of, if you only go to insurance, you get insurance. If you only go to securities, you only get securities, right? You got to make sure that whoever you're working with is fully licensed on everything. Make sure they have at least a Series 7 so they can do, and that they do alternative investing, because you're going to need every trick in the book going forward. Okay, and if whoever you're working with is only this, or this, you're not going to be able to get everything. Okay. The life cycle. Remember when we were all smarter than our parents? Was that just me? You know, they just didn't get it. I was telling my son, I always say, son, this is going to happen. You know, he opened his first checking account for warning. I says, you're not going to understand. You're not going to believe me until you're 30. Well, he's 30 now. Now he says, oh. We all go through it. We're smarter parents. We find out, hey, we weren't so smart, right? We realize that because something happens bad, right? And then we say, wow, we should have listened, right? Well, we say the same thing in the 90s in particular, right? You could not make money, right? You could not make money in markets, right? So we started getting smarter than the professionals. A lot of people before 2008 thought they're smarter than professionals, right? Then 2008 took a lot of people out. I know so many people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and most of them are bankrupt now, right? Didn't have the planning in, thought they knew more. It's really, really important. It's not what you know anymore, it's who you know. You have to build a network of people. We realize we're not smarter. If you look at the Dell bar, it's a quantitative analysis for behavior of investors in particular. The average investor, if you take any 10-year, 20-year period, they only earn about 2 to 3%. And you saw in inflation, that's not going to keep up with inflation, right? Okay? Also, if you see the talking heads on TV, they're always good at talking after the fact, right? And whenever we have a big correction, stuff like 2008, they're talking about people that buy and hold. Well, the studies all show that the investors have good portfolios. If they buy and hold, they would make out better than people trying to time the market. Because what happens when the market goes up and you're buying high, and then when it goes crashing down, you get scared, you just move into fixed. Well, you just sold low. And you can't make money that way, and you can't build your portfolio. So it's important who you work with. The other thing is the bell curve. No matter what it is, your doctor, your lawyer, your car mechanic, your financial guy, your insurance guy, whoever it is, remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people, all right, are average. Like they would say, employers pay just enough to retain their employees, and the employees do just enough to maintain their job, right? So you're not going to always be working with the best. Now always remember too, there's an element that you don't want to work with, what you call your med-offs, you know, make off with your money, remember him? But on the other side, there also is a small percentage that are exceptional. You ever take your car to a mechanic, he pulls like your engine and everything out, and while he's in there, he gives you a call and says, hey, you know what, there's a part in here, it's like 20 bucks. I can put it in for you while I got this all pulled apart. Is that okay? Right? That's a good mechanic. The other one writes it on the thing, right? Puts it all back together, you come to pick up the car, says it's done. By the way, there's a $20 part in there that's going to go bad, you probably need to replace that. You say, well, can we put that in? He says, oh, I got to pull everything out again, that's another $600. Which guy do you want to work with, right? Okay? You want to work with the people that in the 80% that care about people, and the 10% out here that really care about people and take care of them, okay? Please don't repeat 2008. Remember, that was crazy. I don't know how many people, hopefully nobody in here, but your 401ks and all that stuff, if they took major hits, you don't have proper planning in there. It doesn't have to happen. You need to try and get it back. In my company, we started the Camaro Wealth Defense Strategy, and we don't try to do these. You know, you have 47% loss. Remember the 73, 74 to 2000, 46%. The last one we just had in 2008. If you have a strategy set up, you can make it where you can't get those. The markets are down 40%. You'd have to lose everything in the markets to get a 15%. So you have to strategize for that. How about this, a status quo advisor? Everybody have one of those? Doing the same thing for 20 years. Then you meet somebody who has ideas. And what happens? You take these ideas back to this guy. I never understand that. I know this might be an uncle, a brother, or whatever, but if he's not keeping up on things, it worked in the past okay, but going forward, you need somebody that's on top of everything. So you probably want to reevaluate if you're doing that. And that's why, like I said, my company, we do all the strategic partnering, advisory, what's I call it. We have a lot of strategic partners because you can't survive on what you know. And then we're starting this AAWP to try and bring this information and bring these people to you. Again, strategic partnering, we're trying to get together a lot of financial planners, insurance, CPAs, enrolled agents, estate planning attorneys, realtors, other service attorneys. Now the attorneys also are taxes, estates, probably try to get some divorce attorneys, anything we can think to help the association people what they need. All kinds of issues, taxes, credit, incorporations, investments, things you're going to be running into, especially now going forward, you need to have that network in place. Benefits of the membership, you get the latest news through our strategic partnering. We'll have the topic of the day is once a month. We'll have free classes, and there's a list of free classes in the back before you leave. You can get them that are throughout the month where different people will be talking about subjects. We are looking for people to come in here. We need to get people to help us with newsletters, organize newsletter writing, membership databases, social networking guru, get us on Twitter and all that, association partners. So we're trying to build this association really big. It's going to really depend on the membership and what they want to see, okay? And then who we can get to help with this. Right now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Robert. He's going to be talking about debt settlement and credit repair.
You know, when you talk about economy going into the toilet, I had these articles I've been floating around in my book for a long, long time. And it says in the San Francisco Chronicle that the mortgage crunch is on. And this is dated August of '07. So just give you an idea. And I had this other article, same newspaper, August of last year, commercial is the next big wave. Usually it's the other way around. This goes first, they go second. This time it's the commercial market's been taking it into the toilet. So crazy stuff. But bad economy, good economy, credit is going to be the main thing. And if we're going to talk about, you know, what exactly credit is all about. The pamphlet I have in front of you is just a very general handout, but you're welcome to take notes from this thing right here. But the 5 key elements, just a few years ago, anyone familiar with that thing called stated income? It's gone. You know, they don't just base it on good credit anymore. Stated income is where, you know, they don't need your financials, tax returns, or paycheck stubs. You know, there's a lot of white line on the application. Well, the client makes $60,000 here, but they put down $95,000 to get that negative amortization loan, and they weren't expecting everything to go like this. So I think that thing's a thing of the past. So credit, they're really going to be looking at, where just a year or so ago, FHA, Federal Housing Administration, said that you didn't need any FICO score, or maybe a 1 or 2 year clean history with a good proven income with a full financial package. Now you need a 620 FICO score. That's probably going to be 640 pretty soon. So these right here, you're looking at the agenda on the 5 C's of lending. We're also going to talk about, it's on the handout, the key factors. The second item is going to be the huge thing. Fair Isaac FICO scores, and then also talk about who are the credit bureaus and what you can expect from them. Expansion credit won't get into too much, but also the last one, the second and last item on this page, are so hugely important. This right here can make or break a real estate deal. And we'll talk about that, okay? This is the 5 C's of credit. Okay, so, and I'll have this on my website pretty soon. Actually, my process of building out my site should be done by September 1st.